Happy Sunday evening, everybody. Welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Thanks so much for being here this evening. And another SIM500 night getting ready to kick off here at Michigan. 70 laps at the famed Michigan International Speedway. Tonight, a few newcomers to the top 10 and some names that we're all too familiar with. Tyler Dalton's going to start on the pole. Nelson Rivera is going to start outside row number 1. Mike Kelly, Pedro Mejica, row number 2. Scott Simley's going to round out your top 5. Stephen Miles, Seth Foudy, who was very fast through practice tonight, going to start 7th. Cody Keller, Justin Fuller, and Logan Koger going to start in your top 10. Again, welcome everybody to Turn 1 Sunday night, and it is SIM500 night here, getting ready to kick off some Truck Series action. It's been a relatively quiet week over at Turn 1, so it certainly is very fitting to kick it off with some SIM500 action. Tomorrow night, same time, same place, we'll head on over to the American Sim Racing Tour group and continue their run. That season actually coming to a close here so fast. The American Sim Racing Tour, we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but tonight, again, 70 laps under the sun here in Michigan. These drivers behind the pace truck getting ready to roll off here. We're getting ready to roll to the green flag, side by side. Is it going to be the 20 or that 19 driver's night? Is he going to be able to finish it off with what he started here with a pole position? Or will the 24, the 53, the 58, maybe Scott Simley, Seth Foudy, one of those drivers come up to the front? We're going to find out. Pace car is going to hit pit road. Tyler Dalton brings him down to the restart zone, and the green flag is out. We're underway for SIM500 on Sunday. Clean start as they roll through turn 1 and 2 for the first time here tonight. Trucks are going to fan out everywhere, and that's going to be the story we're going to see here tonight. Oh, we see maybe a little bit of a checkup there out of Mike Kelly and Pedro Mejica. In the meantime, Nelson Rivera is going to look underneath Tyler Dalton for the first time as they roll through 3 and 4. Dalton's going to get a little tight, and then going to get it picked back up, and they're going to complete lap number 1. Just like that here at Michigan. A little racy back here. That's Mike Kelly looking underneath Pedro Mejica now, quickly looking to do something with Tyler Dalton as they roll out of turn number 2. Dalton now under full attack by both the second and third place driver. He's going to lose that spot with Mike Kelly diving down to the bottom, going to slide up the racetrack. We're going to have a new leader at the conclusion of lap number 2. The driver of the 53, Mike Kelly, is going to come to the stripe. Here at Michigan, it's going to be pretty much everybody's opportunity. You can kind of run in a multitude of lines. You're seeing it right there. Kelly's going to run high about middle of the racetrack. Tyler Dalton that time is going to run 2 lanes lower than him through turn 1 and 2. You've got a couple laps of these trucks feeling like they're invincible. As we see now, Logan Koger getting in the mix up there. 3 wide for a moment. Tyler Dalton's going to take the lead back. Mike Kelly's going to slide back to 5th. And here comes the 80. Sliding down underneath Tyler Dalton. I believe he's going to be credited with leading that lap. 2 and 3 wide as they roll through 1 and 2. Going to be really racy here as these trucks are up to speed. 70 laps of racing action. Right here, probably around another 5 laps or so is what you're going to have to determine your position. And then after that, you're going to have to settle in and start managing your tires. As Logan Koger is going to lead that last lap. 0.2 of a second lead over Nelson Rivera. Rivera is going to make up ground as he moves to the bottom. right to the line. Not going to be able to get under, not going to be able to make up the time. Coger's making that bottom look really easy, rolling through it there. Half a truck length separates position 1 and 2. Tyler Dalton in third, Pedro Mejica, Joey Gatina sitting in the top 5 right now. Justin Fuller, Mike Kelly has moved all the way back to 7th. Seth Foudy is currently 8. Cody Keller, Stephen Miles rounding out your top 10. Scott Simley, Chad Coleman makes up the second pack here. These are all the drivers fighting for essentially 11th through 16th, 11th through 15th there. Racing action all over the racetrack. Coger and Rivera starting to pull away just a little bit as they come down the backstretch. Those two drivers staying within half a truck length, losing about 3 truck lengths back to Tyler Dalton. You see that exit of the corner, they'll let the truck run all the way up to the wall there. Looks like DJ O'Rourke's going for a slide through the grass. Hold the brakes, DJ. He's going to get it woed up. So far, no caution. Coger now break out the lead to about a truck length and a half over Nelson Rivera. Tyler Dalton sitting in third. Pedro Mejica sitting just behind him there, about a truck length or so. Joey Gatina, Mike Kelly side by side as they roll out of 4. Kelly led early here, now slid back all the way back here, battling for... I'm sorry, Mike Kelly slid all the way back here to 7th after battling for the lead early. Katina's going to hold him off. Justin Fuller's going to move into the top 5. That gap separating second and third, that's Rivera and Dalton continuing to grow a little bit as we see Nelson Rivera look underneath the 80 truck of Logan Coger. Trying to make something happen off of 3 and 4, not going to be able to do so. But going to be right there to the quarter panel. These trucks are going to be side by side as they enter turn 1. Does Rivera try to take the line away from Coger? He doesn't. He's going to run his own groove right down to the line. That's the line we've been seeing him run, and he's going to be able to take that spot away. Is he going to slide up front and take the nose off? He is. New leader, Nelson Rivera, coming down the backstretch. Coger's not done, though. He's going to look underneath Rivera. He had a little bit more corner exit speed. Coming off of 1 and 2, that's going to help him pay here, but he's not going to be able to go all the way to the wall. That's going to slow his run up. Rivera is going to lead that lap. Rivera looking clean. Oh, Coger's loose. He looked pretty loose throughout that entire section there, through that entire quarter. For a minute, there was a controlled slide, but now he's going to lose 10 spots and more. And that's going to secure the lead for Nelson Rivera here on lap number 10 of 70 of tonight's SIM500 Truck Series action here at Michigan. Again, thank you for tuning in to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Appreciate you all being here. Wouldn't want to kick off a week of racing action any differently than seeing SIM500 take the trucks out for a spin here. Tyler Dalton settled in just about 2.5 tenths back on our leader, with Pedro Mejica sitting right in third place. Justin Fuller, Mike Kelly, your top 5. Joey Gatina, Seth Foudy, Keller, Miles, and Simley, your top 10. Look a little further back, mostly single file action. We knew that those first 10 laps or so were going to be sporty here as we see Mejica is going to take to the inside of Dalton in turn 1. He's going to get clear of the 19 truck. Tyler Dalton's going to slide back to third. But we talked about it just a few laps ago. We knew around lap 12 or 10 to 12, these drivers are going to have to think about, the caution's out on the racetrack. Looks like it may have involved the 75 truck. He's going to get it rolling, but we're going to be under caution for the first time. But as I was going to say it, you know, we knew that it was going to be about a 10 to 15 lap run there on tires, and everybody's going to have to settle in and see what they had. We were just starting to get to that settle in period before we see the 75 truck take a spin off of turn number 2. First caution out for the night here at Michigan. Nelson Rivera is your leader. You're watching turn 1. Caution number 1 of the evening tonight here at Michigan. Getting ready to go back green flag racing here on lap number 16. Nelson Rivera, Pedro Mejica. Gonna restart row number 1. Tyler Dalton, Justin Fuller, row 2. Mike Kelly, Seth Foudy, Stephen Miles, Joey Katina, Scott Simley, and Cody Keller round out your top 10. Had a pretty sporty first 12 laps there here at Michigan. How's this restart gonna shake out? We're about to find out. The pace truck's going to head down pit road. Rivera, Mojica, going to get them started in the restart zone, and the green flag is back out underway here in Michigan. Side by side as they roll off into one. Rivera's going to have the edge on that inside line. He's going to try to get clear, but he's not going to be able to do so. It's going to be a drag race down the backstretch. 2 by 2, the top four. Tyler Dalton's going to make it 3 wide on the bottom. Dalton's going to charge in underneath Mojica. And really make it interesting through 3 and 4 there. I'm sorry, that was Justin Fuller he charged it underneath of. Dalton going to continue to keep it interesting there on the very bottom. Mojica's going to stay out front. Here comes Rivera on the inside. Justin Fuller there in the mix, floating around third as well. Tyler Dalton's going to settle in. Fuller now side by side with Rivera down the backstretch. Fuller nowhere to go. With a huge shove. Mike Kelly making moves back there around Tyler Dalton. Getting racy up here, 3-way battle for the lead. Fuller, right to the bumper, Mojica. A huge push down the front stretch. Fuller gives. That's going to give Mojica plenty clear. It's also going to shove him off into the corner pretty hard. Fuller's going to back off. Here comes Rivera on the inside. Not going to be the lane Rivera needs to be able to get clear there. Here comes Mike Kelly. He's on the outside. Rivera's not going to give him any room. Nowhere to go. Kelly's been making moves all over the racetrack. Where does he elect to go? Dalton is going to be right there with him. Fuller, Rivera, side by side for second continuing. All the way down the front stretch through 3 and 4. Tyler Dalton now kind of stuck behind Rivera as well. You can throw basically this battle for the lead under a blanket. Kelly's going to go high. Watch the speed that truck's going to have off the corner, but is he going to have anywhere to go with it? No big run materializing there for Kelly. Fuller's back to the bumper, Mojica. Huge shove forward, the 51. He's going to move back down to the bottom. The 58 truck continuing to lead here. Here comes Mike Kelly on the outside. Kelly's been strong, had flashes of speed and been strong here in the early going. Going back to that outside line. One of the first drivers to really take it that high. And it's going to give him a really big RPM run here down the stretch. Let's see where he's at by the time he gets to 3. Right to the bumper, Mojica. Huge shove down the backstretch. Basically pushes Mojica off into the corner. Kelly's going to stay high. Rivera's going to be low, side by side for second. And all of a sudden, Tyler Dalton's completely out of this fight, moved back to 6th. While everybody else is mostly settled down, we've got a 4-way battle for the lead here on lap number 21. Kelly now underneath Mojica for the first time since the restart. He's going to drive it in deep. Kelly with a huge move. He's going to slide up the racetrack. He's going to use some of that good off those good years and retake the lead here. Coming off of turn number 4, Mike Kelly, the 53 truck, your leader. Now he's got to hang on to it. And did he save enough tire? He's going to commit back to that high line. Rivera, Mojica. I'm sorry, that's Seth Foudy up here. Out of nowhere. Had a strong truck during practice. Foudy now up here battling for the lead. He's going to block the progression of Mojica. Here comes Rivera. And just like that, Mike Kelly now out front over a 1/10 of a second over Seth Foudy, Nelson Rivera, Pedro Mojica, and Brent Scott. Currently up to 5th place, riding that outside line. We've definitely got some new folks here up front here tonight. What is this going to materialize in terms of finish? You've got to start to think about a settle-in period, especially if we expect to see a long green flag run here, which is not uncommon. Rivera's going to dive underneath Foudy in turn number 4. But as I was saying, you've got to get into a point where you are settled in and running your line, starting to save a little bit of tire. It's that time down. It's basically that point in the green flag cycle now, with Rivera looking underneath Kelly. We saw a very similar pace out of the 53 truck during the initial start of the race. Charged up front, made some aggressive moves, got up to the lead. It was only there about 5 or 6 laps. Can he hang on to it a little bit longer this time? Or is it charging Rivera or Foudy going to take him or take that spot back? In the meantime, Pedro Mujica is currently sitting back in 5th. Britt Scott, Tyler Dalton, Stephen Miles, Cody Keller, and Chad Coleman. It's chaos back here. Maybe a little bit of contact there with Logan Koger. Remember, that driver drove his way to the front. Looked really quick and ended up getting loose pretty much throughout the entire section of turn 1 and 2. Lost about 12 positions on track under green flag conditions. Sitting back there fighting to get back into the top 10. Meanwhile, here comes Rivera on the 22. He's going to look underneath Mike Kelly. Rivera's been running that bottom line, but he's going to come up about a lane and a half this time. Out front, Kelly's going to out RPM the 22 this time through 1 and 2. And here comes Justin Fuller on the high side as well. Fuller's going to take that spot away. It looks like Rivera's going to have a bad turn 3. He's going to lose a spot, maybe 2 here. Foudy's going to look to the outside. In the meantime, Mike Kelly thought he was done after Rivera slipped up, but no, here comes Justin Fuller into turn 1. Kelly's going to move down to the very bottom of the racetrack. Slide that 53 back up to the wall. Nose to tail as they roll through 3 and 4. Fuller now going to slide up a little bit. Take a look at the 53. Maybe a little bit of tire conservation mindset in the works there. Pulls all the way to the bumper of the 53. Kelly and Fuller out front, 3/10 over this battle here. With Pedro Mujica and Seth Foudy. That's a 3-wide battle. Here comes Tyler Dalton in the mix again on the very bottom. Dalton did not get back to the front off of pit road, off the pit stops. But that's okay. The 19, maybe that's the tire conservation slowdown mindset he needed to be a little bit racier through the mid-run here. Kelly and Fuller out front, continuing to lead over Pedro Mujica. Tyler Dalton, then it's Seth Foudy and Stephen Miles trying to crack into the top 5 for the first time here tonight. As we look up front, Kelly was back into the high line. And RPM back around the 51. Kelly starting to look around all over the racetrack for a little bit of speed. We've seen him run high through 1 and 2. He's been surfing the bottom the last couple laps. Now moving back to the high side. That 51 truck looking for a little bit of pace here on lap number 30 of 70. Closing in on the halfway mark here tonight. SIM500 on turn 1. Truck Series action. Sunday Night Thunder. Really happy to be here tonight. Thank you everybody for tuning in. It looks like it is going to be a sporty one to the finish of this. Fuller. Looks like he was a little slow through 1 and 2. Pedro Mujica was there. I think it's going to slow up Mujica. And here comes Tyler Dalton on the inside. Stephen Miles is going to follow. Right down to the bottom through 3 and 4 they go. Dalton and Mojica side by side. Down the front stretch. Mojica's going to have that high side. A little more RPM in the truck. In the meantime, Mike Kelly has been able to prove that he's got pace to be up front for more than a handful of laps. Justin Fuller up here settling into P2, but here comes Mojica now on the inside down the backstretch. And all of a sudden, this is a big fight for second place with Tyler Dalton and Stephen Miles in the mix. Fuller on the high side, nowhere to go, and he couldn't really run that truck where he wanted to. He's going to lose pace. Mojica and Dalton are nose to tail as they come across the stripe. Mojica's going to move up. That's going to give Dalton some clean air as they roll off into one. He's now going to battle Fuller for third. You're not missing anything up front. Mike Kelly right now, free and clear by about a tenth and a half. Mojica now gets fully clear of that third place battle now, though, and he's in hot pursuit. Mojica is guaranteed to be fast almost each and every week here on the SIM500 group. You've seen those guys just continue to pump races or pump lap times out. Pedro's obviously a strong contender here each and every week. And you're seeing his pace here, perseverance showing through. Tyler Dalton and Justin Fuller continue that side-by-side battle now going on for the last 3 laps as they come down the backstretch. That's going to open the door for Stephen Miles. Miles, another driver who is always somewhere up here fighting for a top 5 spot at best, and usually wins, is now underneath Dalton, and we've got a lead change. Pedro Mojica is going to get free and clear. Mike Kelly, lap number 34. Fuller's going to hold off the advances of the 19 and the 24. Those two side by side. Kelly's back to the high line at 1. Trying to hang on to P number 2 here. But Mojica quickly trying to grow that lead out to 2/10. Kelly gets a really big run down the backstretch. That's that. Ooh, Tyler Dalton and Fuller nearly make contact at the entry of turn 3 there. Sorry, I was going to say Kelly usually that out highlight he runs in 1 gives him a really strong run down the backstretch, but just in time for turn number 3 to catch up with him. Kelly back to the high side once again. Watch this gap. Watch this interval in the tower here. Take down real slow. Kelly reels him in to really within about a 10th or so. But then he's got to find that line back through the corner. Mojica just continues to have corner pace and well balanced all the way around the racetrack. Tyler Dalton's going to settle into 4th. Newcomer to the top 5 here tonight. Chad Coleman sitting in 5th. Cody Keller, Stephen Miles, Seth Fouting, Nelson Rivera, Scott Simley, your top 10. Pretty racy for all intensive purposes here tonight at Michigan to lap number 36. Past halfway for the SIM500 group here on turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Appreciate you being here. It's been a pretty racy Michigan in the truck series for these drivers. Now, all of a sudden, after what was essentially a 4-truck battle for the lead, now mostly single-filed out down the backstretch, down the front stretch. With Mojica continuing to gap out front now, 4/10 over Mike Kelly. Here comes Justin Fuller. He's looking for a place to go. Here comes the 38 truck of Chad Coleman as well. Fuller's going to lose that spot. This is where you're going to start to see the tires really become a factor. The comers and goers are going to start to materialize here now that we're about 20 laps into this green flag run. And everybody's going to have to find a lane and a pace that works for them with what they've got after what it looks like some pretty, what was a really crazy, especially first 15 laps in the top 10. Kelly, looks like he was a little slow off of 2 there. May have made a little bit of contact with the wall. Not 100% sure, but either way, that's going to get Fuller back up to the bumper. And also here comes Coleman, knocking on the door to the top 3 here on lap number 39. Equal tires for the entire field. Coleman now going to get free and clear. Or I'm sorry, Fuller going to get free and clear of Coleman. In the meantime, Dalton's not too far away as well. Meantime, up front, you're not missing anything. The 58 truck of Pedro Mojica out front now, nearly 7/10 of a second over Mike Kelly. The battle here is mostly for second. And this just shows you how evenly paced these trucks are and trying to find a place to go. Trying to find a little bit of clean air and a little bit of grip. Make that much of a difference to get by. Everybody kind of bottled up behind the 53 here. Fuller's going to go to the high side. The 32 is going to look to the bottom. That is Chad Coleman. I'm sorry, that's the 38 of Coleman. Going to look underneath Kelly, but he's going to pinch that turn off. Couldn't take it back up and open up the wheel a little bit there. He's going to lose the pace. But Coleman looks like he's going to have that spot for Fuller now. He may have an opportunity to look underneath Mike Kelly in 3 and 4. He's going to do so. Here comes Stephen Miles. Going to follow him up. You can just see that high side really working for the 53 and the 51. A little bit more RPM in those trucks, not slowing down as hard through the corner is going to give them that just a little bit more pace. But you got to hang on to it. Fuller's going to go out there nearly to the wall. Everybody jockeying for a spot here and just trying to find basically a clean place to run. 3 wide back here as they enter turn number 3. That's Miles, Coleman, and Fuller with nowhere really to go. And that's Scott Simley behind him. This is basically a huge 5-way battle for third. Now looking to 4 wide, contact's made. Miles makes contact with Dalton. Dalton makes contact. I believe that was Scott Simley, and the caution's out. That was Simley, and unfortunately, he's going to end up backwards against the wall. That was huge contact, but they were trying to make it 4 wide and 1, and that was not going to work. And that's going to bring the caution out for the second time here tonight on lap number 43. Not what Pedro Mojica wanted to see. He was on cruise control. Everybody will be coming down for tires and a splash of fuel to take them all the way to the end. And we'll have about a 23-lap sprint to the finish. When we come back, Mojica, Kelly, Coleman, and Fuller, and Cody Keller, your top 5. You're watching Turn 1. Pedro Mujica, Chad Coleman, Justin Fuller, Jason Karlovich, Nelson Rivera, your top 5. Stephen Miles, Cody Keller, Mike Kelly, EJ O'Rourke, Joey Katina, your top 10. As I mentioned, we're going to have about a 24 lap run to the end here. It's going to be able to bring it home. We've seen a lot of racy action all over the racetrack here tonight. We'll see if it continues. Pedro Mujica is going to be the controller. He's on the inside. Going to bring him down to the restart zone. And the green flag's back out. Lap number 46. Saving tires is out the window now. Everybody's going to be on full push. Mujica's got to run hard here with Fuller. Right to the bumpers. It comes down the backstretch. Looking to the inside is the 38 of Coleman. He's looking for his first top 3 in a while. Looking underneath Fuller. Moving down, Mujica's going to try to block the run of the 38. Three-way battle for the lead here. Coleman right to the bottom. Going to try to use the shortest way around to the racetrack. Not going to get clear, though. Mujica's going to have the high line. Coleman's going to have some help. Here comes Rivera on the inside with a push. Now, Chad Coleman. He's got the nose out front. He's going to try to block the air off Pedro Mujica. He's going to do it, but here comes Rivera on the inside. Chad Coleman is officially going to lead that. Oh, excuse me, officially going to lead that lap. Now, can he just hang on for 23 more laps? Mujica's going to have to, he's battling Rivera for P number 2 here. And here comes, we see that red truck of Mike Kelly back to the high line. He's going to start his run back to the front. Led a good portion of laps that last run. Nowhere to go. He makes contact with the back of the 51. Gives him a huge push down the front stretch. In the meantime, Coleman out front. Rivera in his tire tracks. Followed him through 1 and 2. Oh, big wreck. Kyle Kelly gets into the wall. I don't think Kelly was quite clear. And that's going to bring that caution out. Let's see if we can take another look at what happened there. Yeah, Mike Kelly may have had, he had some help, but that truck nearly goes upside down. Unfortunately, that's probably going to end the evening of competitiveness, at least, out of that 53 truck. Under caution again here. Chad Coleman out front. Nelson Rivera. Pedro Mujica, Justin Fuller, Joey Katina, your top 5. With just 21 laps remaining now. Now, I guess, begs the question, do you come back down pit road? I do believe they have at least one more set of tires in the pits. What do you elect to do here? Do you come down and take them? Assuming you may have, you know, you got 3 laps of racing action on them. Looks like somebody's thinking about it. Fuller was down there. No, it looks like everybody's going to stay out. The first truck to come down is Cody Keller. He's all by himself. A couple folks kind of dipping and dodging back and forth. And it looks like then Ron Holliford, Bill Schoonover, Michael Sharp, Joe Hudson's all going to come down. Tyler Dalton, Mike Kelly, these guys all towards the rear of the field. Coming down pit road for what'll be their last tires of the night. We'll step aside one more time. Go back, green flag, racing with about 19 to go. You're watching turn 1. Cautions breeding a little bit of cautions here as we wrap up our third of the night at Michigan. Chad Coleman out front. A 22 Nelson Rivera outside row number 1. Pedro Mojica's led a lot of laps here tonight. The 51's been competitive as well. Who's going to bring home the trophy before it's all said and done? The pace truck's down pit road. Get another restart, another chance to re-rack it. In the zone they go. Chad Coleman, the control truck, and the green flag's back out. 18 laps to go. Side by side as they roll off in the turn number 1. Mojica's going to look to the very bottom here, try to slide out in front of Coleman, not going to be able to do so. In the meantime, Rivera was on the outside. Fuller's going to push the 38 though. That 51 truck has been a strong pusher for a couple trucks here tonight. That's going to get Coleman free and clear of the scuffle. Off of turn number 4 they go. Jockey in 4th position. Mojica on the bottom now. Rivera to the bumper of Fuller on the high side. Fuller side by side with Coleman. It's a track race down the backstretch. Fuller's going to lead by half a truck, going to have the high line. He's going to continue to lead that high line there in the 51. Coleman's going to be stuck to the bottom, can't really rotate the truck off the corner. Justin Fuller's going to lead that lap, 16 to go. Fuller's going to take it way outside again. But he's not going to have anywhere to go with this run. Coleman's well out front. Could block him. He's not going to. I'm really surprised to see that 38 not move up a little bit higher. Now here's Pedro Mojica there. Mojica's got some help from the 22. Coleman's trying to hang on for a hard-earned top 3, a potential victory here. Now Fuller back to the bumper of the 58. 15 to go. Meanwhile, there's a bunch of trucks back here we got to pay close attention to. EJ O'Rourke's up front, or moving his way up front for the first time. No, a little bit of contact there out of the 22 and 41. Well, Seth Fowdy, EJ O'Rourke, Nelson Rivera, Joey Katina, everybody kind of battling back here. Tons of time here to still get up front. With Coleman and Mojica starting to break away a little bit. Fuller in that third place. Here comes Logan Koger back into the mix. We saw him lead early, because he got enough tire to run here, run the leaders down and late going. Pressuring now the 51 of Fuller. He's going to look underneath him. Fuller's going to run him all the way down to the racetrack. Fuller's going to slide up right to the door of the 51. They're even making contact down the front stretch. The 51 runs him all the way to the apron. That's going to bottle him up behind him. O'Rourke has nowhere to go. Koger on the inside. Not able to get back to the door there. Fuller's going to move down, take the air off the 88 or the 80 truck. Koger's going to get tight, slide up, almost to the door there of O'Rourke. He's going to save it. Fuller's free and clear in front of him. In the meantime, Chad Coleman out front by a 1/10.5 over Pedro Mojica here with 12 laps to go. This gap behind Pedro Mojica, though, back to our leaders, nearly 0.8 of a second. And Coleman and Mojica is loving what they see. They know if they continue to keep battling back there, it's going to slow them down. They're going to continue to be able to walk away. Mojica just stalking the 38 truck. Oh, and the caution's out. We got a couple trucks in the grass here and a truck up against the wall. I believe that looks like Dan Denier. Or Dan Denier sure is. The 34 truck stopped against the wall. That is not what Coleman or the 58 of Mojica wanted to see. Let's take a look here. Dan Denier, what happened to him? Oh, went for a big ride as they rolled off the corner there. That was a pretty wild ride. Gonna bring the caution out for the 4th time here, and this is gonna bring us within about 8 to go on the restart. Keep in mind, Coleman, Mojica, Fuller, EJ O'Rourke, Seth Fowdy, your top 5, they still have a set of tires in the pits. Do they elect to come down and grab those? Is that a factor? And it sure is going to be. They're coming down pit road to grab tires now. This is going to benefit Cody Keller and a couple others that were riding there in the back. Keller came down pit road on lap number 50. Looks like Bill Schooner's going to stay out. Schoonover's going to stay out as well. He came down on pit road on lap number 50. A little bit of pit strategy is going to come into effect here as the leaders on pit road for what will be their last stops of the night. Tyler Dalton's going to come down. He's going to hit his box. Looks like Coleman's going to lead that charge off. And we're going to see how this all shakes out. We'll step aside one more time. You're watching Turn 1. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here with 8 to go. We're going to have to pay close attention to this front row. Older tires versus new tires. How's it going to shake out? We're about to find out. Cody Keller, Bill Shootover. The restart zone. The green flag's out. Keller gets out to a big jump. And the field's having to work around the 20 truck. 4 wide as they enter in turn number 1. Here come those new tires in effect. Coleman right to the bottom of Keller. Oh, big wad up out of turn number 2. Caution back out. That's those old tires in effect right there. Slowing everybody up there. Not able to get moving, unfortunately. Bill Shootover's going to pay for staying out. I believe that was Joey Gattina as well. It sure was. Not the night the 14 truck wanted to happen there as he's involved in this incident. And the caution's back out. Really nowhere to go. They were 4 wide off into 1. Trying to hang on to it there was going to be tough. Chad Coleman continuing to lead. Justin Fuller. Cody Keller was able to hang on to a 3rd. Seth Foudy, Logan Koger, Pedro Mujica, Jason Karlovich, Nelson Rivera, Joe Hudson, Lane Phillips, your top 10. Taking a look through the field here. Trying to catch a look at, see where some of our guys that have been up front are right now. Steven Miles is sitting 14th. Nelson Rivera is sitting 8th. Of course, Mojica, as I mentioned, running 6th. This is going to shake out to be an exciting, what could be about a 3-lap run to the end. Chad Coleman, your leader, under caution. A 4-lap shootout to the end of regulation here tonight for the SIM500 Sunday Night Thunder. Truck Series action on turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. If you've missed the racing up to this point, well, I feel bad for you, but you're going to get to see a really good 4-lap run to the end. Chad Coleman out front. Justin Fuller on the outside. Who's it going to be? And the restart zone they go. Coleman gets them rolling, and the green flag's out. Everybody jockeying for position as they get ready to roll into turn 1. 8-truck battle for basically the top 3. Oh, Fuller gets a little squirrely, moving down to the bottom. That's going to slow him up. Here comes Foudy. Foudy right to the bumper of Coleman. Fuller on the inside. Logan Koger on the outside. High. But Fuller and Coleman side by side as they roll through 4. Fuller on the bottom, right to the apron. Oh no, and the caution's out again. Several trucks taking evasive action here. Alan Wild, Ron Holliford, a couple drivers involved. And that is going to take us, I believe, to NASCAR overtime. Let's see if we can figure out what happened back here, starting with Ron Holliford. Coming off a 4. Oh, it happened in front of them. They were really wadded up. Oh, big impact to the passenger side of the 7 is the 34. And unfortunately, going to bring the caution out. We're going to go back to overtime here at Michigan. Justin Fuller, your leader. Chad Coleman. Cody Keller. We'll see how this all shapes out. We're going to step aside one more time. You're watching turn 1. Justin Fuller, Chad Coleman, Pedro Mujica, Cody Keller, Joe Hudson, your top 5. As we take it to NASCAR overtime here tonight. Fuller's going to be on the outside, Chad Coleman on the inside. We'll see how this shakes out. Pace truck down pit road. Can we get this race wrapped up under one overtime attempt, or are we going to have another go? We'll find out in the restart zone with the green flag out. Justin Fuller gets them rolling. Fuller's free and clear, out front by 2 trucks. Coleman and Mujica side by side as they roll off into 1. Keller and Rivera sitting back there as well, but it's Justin Fuller right now dominating. Oh, another caution out. Not sure exactly. Oh, yeah, nope, there it is. No, I wasn't 100% sure where it was. Looks like it's going to involve Tyler Dalton, Ron Holliford involved. This is all coming off of turn number 2. Let's take a look from a perspective of Tyler Dalton. Not the night the 19 truck wanted to have. Looking for a clean place to run. Oh, this all happened in front of him. He gets collected along with a couple others. That looks like that may have been preventable from all involved. Unfortunately, going to bring the caution out yet again here. Justin Fuller scored our leader. Not the restart he wanted, or not what he wanted to see. He had a free and clear run out front. Pedro Mujica was able to get that second spot away from Chad Coleman. The 69 of Cody Keller sitting 4th. Nelson Rivera, your top 5. Joe Hudson, Stormy Benfield, Stephen Miles, Lane Phillips. Your top 9 here. Under caution once again. We'll have another attempt at a green-white checkered. Attempt number 2 at NASCAR overtime coming at you right here on turn 1. Justin Fuller out front. Pedro Mojica on the outside or the inside row number 1. Another restart for the 51. He ran in the top 5 all night here. Just recently got out front. Does he got enough to maintain that spot? Side by side as they come back to the restart zone. NASCAR overtime in effect. Green flag. Fuller did not get as big of a jump on Mojica that time. They're side by side, door to door as they roll through one. Mojica had a great corner right on the bottom there. We got another truck spun. And the caution's out. Once again. And that was Nelson Rivera. I believe he had a little bit of help there. And Pedro Mojica is going to have the lead. I'm not sure if that was... Yep, that was the last attempt. And it is going to be the 58 truck is going to be your winner here tonight. Justin Fuller is going to be one spot short. Chad Coleman was able to hang on to the third place. Cody Keller, Joe Hudson, Stephen Miles, Stormy Benfield, Scott Casita, Lane Phillips, Mike Kelly, your top 10. What a wild night here at Michigan. Started out a ton of green flag runs, a bunch of racing action all over the racetrack. Pedro Mojica, though, didn't lead a ton in the second half, but he led the one that mattered the most. And it's going to bring him the checkered flag. Pace truck's going to bring him all the way back around to the start-finish line. And there you have it. Checkered flag for the SIM500 Sunday Night Thunder Group in the 58 truck. Pedro Mojica is your winner. A wild night of racing action coming to a close. And we'll cover some post-race coverage and talk to our top 3 here in just a moment. You're watching Turn 1. Another night in the books here for the SIM500 group, and I tell you what, it was a great race for most of the night, with cautions leading to cautions there at the very end, but nonetheless, the 58 truck, Pedro Mejica bringing home the victory here tonight on turn 1. Tomorrow night, the American Stock Car Racing Tour, the American Sim Racing Tour, I mess that up every week, the American Sim Racing Tour comes back to turn 1, and we will go super speedway racing with that group. Let's quickly, though, talk to race winner, the driver of the 58, Pedro Mejica. Pedro, congratulations. What a wild night on the racetrack. Talk to me about the 58 and being there where it mattered most at the very end.
Yeah, no, it was a really fun race overall. Unfortunately, all those yellows came out at the end. I felt like for long run pace, we were probably the best, if not, or one of the best. And I was hoping we would get long runs there, and just every time we would kind of get to that point of each run, it would just, the yellow would come out. And there at the end, it was just all hell kind of broke loose. Yellows just kept coming out, and it came down to like, where'd you restart, which lane were you in, who was in front of you, who was behind you, who was getting the push, who didn't. And at one point there, I didn't think we had a chance. I got stuck behind Bill, and Bill was just up there just because he didn't have tires, and I was just unfortunately the first car behind him, and he was second place to the leader. So like, it's tough to predict the starts. He didn't get as great of a start, and I was all over him, and I went from 4th to 6th, lost a couple spots, and then kind of had to just claw my way back up with these restarts. But that was the thing, is didn't have a lot of time to do much of anything. So yeah, and then unfortunately, I think I got into Seth Foudy and caused that yellow, which I hated. Like, we were just racing really hard, and I was really tucked up on his left rear, and it kind of looking at it right now, we were just super close, and there was no room for error, and I just barely touched his left rear, so I apologize to him.
Pedro, we saw that you mentioned with the cautions, and there's not a lot of time to get things done. You made that move underneath Justin Fuller there in the turn 1 and 2. Did you know, like, you had no choice but to try to squeeze it off right there? Were you expecting more cautions? Was that the mindset? Just try to get it done early and deal with the ramifications later, or what was the deal there?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you said. Like, I knew that last green, white, checker, whatever the next flag was, go in the race. So I timed the restart just good enough. I could hang on his left rear, and I pulled him back, and then just threw it in the corner and was able to just barely clear him. I don't know if I was clear, but I made myself clear. I kind of knew, like, okay, well, might get a shot that going into turn 3. We'll see, but we never got to there, so it worked out.
It certainly did, and that was the winning move of the night. Pedro Mejica bringing home the victory here at Michigan. Pedro, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you putting this on, and I appreciate the Sunday Night Thunder League. It's been a lot of fun this year, and looking forward to the next round with the ARCA cars. So appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Pedro. And with that, we will talk to Justin Fuller really quick here. Justin, a P2 in the books tonight. Not what I know you were probably looking for. Obviously, those restarts hurt you at the very end. Did you have long green flag run? Was that what you were looking for to be able to bring home the victory?
No, I was terrible on the long runs, so the short runs where I needed it. I don't know what I needed to be better on the long runs, but we weren't very good. Yeah, I mean, the restarts hurt me, but they also helped me, though. I mean, I got the lead on a restart, and I lost the lead on the fast restart. I don't know. This track has not been very good lately for us, and it's kind of frustrating to have all these yellows at such an easy track. I don't know what the deal is with that, but we're still here, and we'll get it figured out one of these days.
Justin Fuller bringing home P2 here tonight. Justin, thank you for the time.
Thanks, you too.
With that, we will quickly also talk with Chad Coleman, who had led a bunch of laps here tonight. Chad, congratulations on a P3 position. Not exactly the win I'm sure you were looking for out of that truck. Talk me through your night and anything you think you could have done differently there.
Yeah, better restarts. When I was the leader out there, I probably should have took the top, and honestly, I completely spaced. I forgot that Cody had older tires, so Fuller was able to clear him before we got to turn 1, and then Fuller was able to cut down across the racetrack and get a big run off of 2, and he was able to nose me out off of 4, and the caution came out, and then we restarted again. Kind of guessed that a little bit, I guessed about a half second wrong, and fell back to third. And then, of course, the caution came out again. And then we had another restart, and Pedro guessed right, and cleared Fuller off too. And then, lo and behold, another caution came out. So the last 10 laps were, I think, 8 laps under caution and 2 under green, and they were 3 lead changes.
Chad, well, listen, you know, it was really good to see you up front here tonight. What do you think? Obviously, as you mentioned, cautions kind of bred cautions there at the very end. As a driver getting around this place, did you feel like it was really difficult to get around here tonight, or any one thing you think contributed to that, or just maybe a lack of patience and those urgency and those cautions coming out, driving a little bit more of a lack of a give mindset?
Now this track's pretty, I won't say easy. It's not like running Daytona and Talladega, but I mean it'll slide a little bit, but it's nothing that's, you know, out of control. It's just here you're racing tight with other cars and other trucks in this case, and it's just awareness. If we've seen it time and time again, guys just have little to no awareness of what's going on around them or where their car is, much less anybody else's, and then that's how you wreck at Michigan.
Chad Coleman bringing home third tonight here at Michigan. Chad, appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And with that, we'll wrap up race coverage here Sunday Night Thunder right on turn 1. You heard Pedro kind of allude to it a little bit, or Pedro or Justin, one of the two allude to it a little bit. Turn 1 and the SIM500 Joey Katina group have signed for some additional races. We'll talk more about that here in the next little bit. But I'll tell you what a really good night of racing action overall here at Michigan. It's always a good time when Sunday Night Thunder takes place here on turn 1. On behalf of the league admins and everybody over at Sim500, I'm Sean Fitz. Appreciate you being here. Tomorrow night, American Sim Racing Tour comes back to turn 1, and we'll do some super speedway racing. Until next time, we'll catch you then. Bye-bye now.